Greetings, fellow shipmates. Welcome to the second leg of our voyage aboard the P.T. Anderson, this movie director series that I'm doing. We come, of course, to the 1997 release Boogie Nights, which in my estimation is probably PTA's most acclaimed film after There Will Be Blood. Didn't get a Best Picture nomination, but it got lots and lots of praise and awards and, critics' best, whatever. And it's a roundly well-liked movie. The movie is set in the late 70s and early 80s. It starts off in 77 in LA, the San Fernando Valley to be precise, as dictated by the title cards. And the main characters are a cluster of people who work in the adult entertainment industry. They make sex films, which showed it in actual movie theaters at this time. The leader of the group and guy who basically is in charge of the company and directs most of the pictures is Jack Horner, played by Burt Reynolds, and he's married to a woman who calls herself Amber Waves. That's her screen name. She's one of the on-screen performers, played, of course, by Julianne Moore. And there's a large ensemble of people who both work in front of and behind the camera. Most notably, the main character of the movie, Eddie, played by Mark Wahlberg, who takes the name Dirk Diggler. And let's see, other Anderson regulars include, of course, John C. Reilly, Melora Walters, Philip Baker Hall, all of whom were in Hard 8, of course, and Philip Seymour Hoffman as well. So yeah, basically this kid, who's very young when the movie starts, gets recruited by Jack due to his talents below the waistline to appear in his movies, and he's the next big star, and he attains all this fame within this subculture of the entertainment industry. Develops a really nasty drug habit after a while. Things go kind of downhill in the 80s. Due to business concerns, they're forced to switch to videotape, which doesn't look as well. They become a home video distribution company rather than, the kind that shows their films in theaters. And a lot of the characters go through a really nasty downward spiral, depending on what their particular problem is. And a lot of them do have some pretty serious problems. In fact, probably the most well-adjusted guy in the whole movie is Jack Horner himself, Burt Reynolds' character, and his cameraman, Ricky Jay. Those two guys seem to have, their stuff together pretty well, relatively speaking. Everyone else has a lot of issues to deal with. So, I said in the beginning of the series that PTA isn't amongst my most favorite directors that I would normally devote one of these series to, and Boogie Nights is probably the #1 reason why. I've never really liked this movie very much. It's a combination of factors. It starts off sad. The characters are all kind of sad, and a lot of them are pretty dumb. And their lack of intelligence is used in a comical way for the most part, which I never really liked that much. But it's also a serious film about the perils of drug abuse and hubris, I suppose. And things go predictably awry on New Year's Eve, oddly enough. In the transition from 79 to 80, everything just seems to get a whole heck of a lot worse pretty much overnight. In addition to this, again, it's the combination of sad things happening that where the music, the whole spirit of the times tend to sort of fighting against what's happening. The movie opens with this big celebration. It's a very celebratory mood. The disco music is rocking, everyone's dancing, having a great time, making movies, having lots of sex, and then things get bad, but they actually are already bad, kind of bad to begin with. You've got the Don Cheadle character really just doesn't have an identity. He keeps trying to adopt these new personas. They never really seem to work all that well. Julianne Moore can't, see her son from her previous marriage because of the business that she's in, and, her drug habit. Her husband, her ex-husband, is very well aware of, all of her issues. Mark Wahlberg's home life before he joins the gang is pretty sad. His mother, thinks that he ought to go back and finish high school, and that he's never going to amount to anything. He's never going to accomplish anything. So despite the fact that everyone's partying and having a good time, it really doesn't mask the general downbeat nature of the whole situation. And then things just get even more and more grim as people turn to crime and prostitution, and of course lots and lots of drugs are consumed during this whole thing. And there's suicide, there's murder, there's all kinds of horrible things that happen. It seems like such an upbeat movie, I guess, from the previews. And I was looking forward to this movie when I first saw it, it advertised. But yeah, the whole experience just left really a bad taste in my mouth. The first thing that struck me, I mean, I've had some time to think about this movie since I first saw it, and I really, when I rescreened it yesterday, I kind of, I guess you could say that I had sort of taken some time to think more about and process just what was happening rather than just look at the surface of it, because when I first saw it, I just thought it was one big Scorsese ripoff, I mean, there's at least 4 really long, elaborate Steadicam shots. And there's a whole scene that seemed to rip off Brian De Palma. In fact, PTA wanted to use the exact same piece of music in Carlito's Way for this Steadicam shot that goes through this nightclub. And of course, it had been used in Carlito's Way, so he used something that just sounds very similar to it. And there's a scene at the end that's very much like Raging Bull. The whole thing just kind of, seemed like, a very shallow echo of a Scorsese film, which I found very displeasing. Not to say that technically it's a badly made movie. I mean, it's executed very well. And the acting, for the most part, is very good. I really like Burt Reynolds a lot in this movie. I think he's good. I mean, they all do their parts well. But it's in the service of something that really is just extremely obvious right from the beginning. I think that PTA was interested in looking at these characters without judging them, but I don't think he succeeded very well, because he often uses their just kind of general stupidity for comic effect, which is something that I've never really liked very much. There was this line that was in all the commercials and in the movie itself where they're enjoying big success, and Mark Wahlberg shows John C. Reilly a new pair of shoes he's thinking of buying. And John C. Reilly says, "Are those Lizard?" And Wahlberg says, "No, they're Italian." And I'm just like, yeah, okay, great. Thanks very much for being so idiotic you can't even tell the difference between, a type of leather and a country of origin, So yeah, the whole thing really just, didn't work for me very much at all. So unfortunately, yeah, that's kind of the low point for me. I mean, I'd say I'd like pretty much all of those other movies better than this one. There's my Boogie Nights review. But luckily we're getting that one out of the way and over with and moving on to better stuff. I know probably a lot of you like Boogie Nights, and if you don't, cool, I'm on board with that. And if you do, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Please go ahead and make me a video response if you're so inclined. I'll if you want to attach to this video, I'll include it in my PTA playlist that I'm building right now. For my last video, Hard 8, the movie Rewind did attach to one of his videos, which contained clips, which is really nice to see clips in a video. I don't really edit stuff in, but it's good to see. The next one, of course, will be Magnolia. It will be put up on Friday, this Friday, the 7th. I'm really looking forward to talking about that one. I haven't seen that movie in a really long time, so I'm interested in talking about it again. Thanks for watching. Oh, one more thing, I need to give you guys a clue for my Director Number 3 series. Who is Director Number 3? If you want to make a guess, please make it a private message to my channel, not a comment or a video, please. The rest of the rules are in the link below the video and the link to this, the link that's in this video. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. So, the clue is this. My Director series on this person, Director Number 3, as I'm referring to him, will cover 11 titles in total. Included in those 11 titles are all of his feature films, plus at least one extra item, which might be a television series. At least one. Could be more, but at least one. Plus all the films that he has directed. All the feature films that he's directed. So there's your clue, and there will of course be one per every one of these. Magnolia, of course, is coming up, and after that, Punch Drunk Love, There Will Be Blood, and after September 14th, once it's released, a video on The Master. So, thanks again, guys. Bye.